3 months ago, my parents were away at a wedding, and I was home alone with our dogs Bella, Max, Luna, and Rocky. Bella and Max are both pit bulls, and usually they make me feel safe. But that day was different. A few hours after my parents left, I took Bella and Max outside. Suddenly, I heard barking that didn't sound like theirs. I hurried out and saw a woman on the other side of our fence. She looked like she was in her late 30s, was about 5 feet 7 inches tall, and smelled strongly of cigarettes. She tried to pat the dogs, but they didn't seem interested. I said thank you and quickly took them inside. But then, she looked at me in a scary way that made me feel really scared. I locked everything and looked outside, but I couldn't see her. So, I took the dogs to a different room far from the backyard and messaged my mom about what happened. We live near some apartments, and usually people come by to see our dogs. But this lady made me feel really uncomfortable. Mom said she wouldn't be home soon, but told me to stay safe. Later, the doorbell rang, and the dogs went crazy, barking and moving around a lot. I was too scared to see who was at the door, so I stayed with the dogs. While I was watching a movie, I heard strange clicking noises at my window that scared me a lot. I thought it might be the same woman from before trying to come in. Then there was a loud crash. I got a bit brave and looked outside. I saw the woman breaking into my neighbor's house. I closed my curtains fast and called 911, staying quiet so she wouldn't hear me. They said the police would come in about 2 minutes. But then, I heard a really loud scream. I peeked out and saw my neighbor fighting with the woman, who was screaming a lot. I told someone on the phone about the fight I saw, and the police came quickly. The lady was really angry and shouting a lot. The police had to use a taser to stop her. They took away a knife and something that looked like a gun from her. She said scary things like wanting to hurt me, my dogs, and burn down the house. It seemed like she was confused and thought my neighbor's house was mine because they look alike. I was really scared at the thought of her coming to us. I hugged my dogs really tight because I was scared and didn't know what else to do. I sat there until I got very tired and fell asleep. When I woke up, my parents had come back. It was hard to explain everything, so I asked them to talk to our neighbors. After that, I felt really nervous for a while. I wasn't allowed to stay home alone anymore. I couldn't forget the scary look the lady gave me. I felt better when I slept next to my pit bulls. They made me feel safe. I thought we were okay now, but I still felt scared sometimes. As time went on, the police started looking into what happened. They asked me lots of questions about that night, if I noticed anything strange before it all went down, or if I'd seen the woman before. I tried my best to remember and tell them everything, hoping it could help catch the people she was working with or understand why they chose our neighborhood. But then, something surprising happened during the investigation. They found out the woman wasn't working by herself. She was part of a group that had been breaking into houses. There were others in the group who checked out neighborhoods looking for houses to steal from. Seemed like they picked places where they could easily get in or find valuable things to take. The police found proof that she was involved in many robberies in different areas. They found a bunch of stolen things hidden close by, which showed she did those break-ins. I felt better knowing they caught her and she couldn't harm anyone anymore. But it made me worried. I couldn't stop thinking about what might have happened if she targeted our home instead of our neighbors. It scared me a lot, but I tried to be thankful that my dogs and I were okay. Before I continue to the next story, if you are interested in earning from YouTube without showing your face, or without making videos by yourself using artificial intelligence, like the video that you are watching right now, then I have a special free training for you. Check the first link in the description below to get instant access. A little while ago, I moved to a small house that was closer to where I work. It was a great move because before that, I had to travel a long way to get to work every day. But since it was a new area for me, I didn't really know many people there. One evening after work, I drove back home, excited for a peaceful night. It was about 7 p.m., and I had to get up early the next day for work. I parked my car in the garage, heated up some leftover pizza, and relaxed on the couch, checking out videos on YouTube to watch. Out of nowhere, the doorbell rang really suddenly, scaring me. When I opened the door, there was a lady, maybe around 50 years old, with long gray hair. She started talking to me, asking where I'm from, if I live alone, and things like that. Then, she smiled and left, but something about her felt strange, even though I couldn't figure out what. Later, while I was eating my pizza, I heard a car engine making a lot of noise outside. I looked out the window and saw a car parked right in front of my house, even though there were other empty spots. The engine kept running loudly for almost 30 minutes before suddenly stopping. I went to check, but the car was still there, turned off, and nobody else was around. While I was cleaning, I heard a loud noise from the back of the house. It made my heart beat fast, so I walked quietly down the hallway. I saw a dark shape quickly move away from the back door. I didn't waste a second. I ran to the front window and saw a person getting into a car and driving away really fast. I felt really worried. I hurried to the back door and noticed that the handle looked damaged, like someone had tried to break in. It scared me because I remembered a strange lady who had been around earlier. I started wondering if she was involved in this. Her odd questions seemed more suspicious now. I felt nervous and a little afraid, but I tried my best to stay calm. At night, I made sure all the doors and windows were locked and the lights were on. Then, something scary happened. My phone suddenly couldn't get any signal, and I got really scared because I wouldn't be able to call for help if I needed to. I felt all alone. To keep myself busy, I turned the TV up loud. But then, I heard strange sounds like soft footsteps. My heart started beating really fast. I tried to find where the sound was coming from, but I didn't see anyone. I was sitting on the couch, thinking I was hearing things. But then, I heard scratching noises by the front door. I got really scared and didn't know what to do. I decided to get a kitchen knife and quietly went to check the door. I looked through the little hole in the door but didn't see anything. Then, I noticed someone trying to open the window. I got really scared, and without thinking, I ran to the back door to go to a neighbor's house for help. When I tried to open the back door, I heard a big noise from the front of the house. It sounded like something heavy fell, and then I heard glass breaking. I got really scared because I knew someone had broken into my house. I felt stuck and scared because I was all by myself and couldn't call for help. I quickly went into a small space in the house and tried to breathe quietly. I hoped that the person who broke in would just take what they wanted and go away. I stayed hidden for a long time, feeling really scared. Even when the noises stopped, I stayed hidden because I was too afraid to move. When I finally had the courage to come out, and when I checked the house, I saw that someone had broken in and taken some valuable things. It was really scary, and my heart was racing. Even though the intruders were gone, I felt really scared. The next day, I called the police and changed all the locks on my doors. I also put up cameras to keep my home safe. Even though I never saw those people again, I always felt like someone was watching me, especially when I heard strange noises outside. Now, I'm much more careful. I always make sure everything is locked and I take home security seriously. That night was really frightening, and it made me realize how unsafe I could be when I'm alone. I am a female, and a few weeks ago, I was at my home while my roommate, Sarah, went to a big wedding party with her old high school friends. Our place was nice, with 2 bedrooms and a cozy living area connected to the kitchen. The TV was set up to face the kitchen, and we had a small view of a garden from our windows. Sarah was planning to come back really late, around 3 a.m., because she wanted to have a lot of fun and drink a lot at the party. She has a cool group of friends, but I didn't know any of them, so I didn't get an invitation. Plus, I didn't know the people getting married, so I was happy to just have a calm night by myself. I started watching Netflix and couldn't stop. I was trying to choose a series to watch non-stop. Then, right when I was really into it, there was a knock on our door. It was about 10 o'clock, so I thought it might be Sarah coming home early. But when I checked my phone, it was strange because she had her key with her. I wondered if she forgot because she was really drunk, but turning up 5 hours early for a wedding was strange. I don't usually like parties, and this was way too early. So I left my drink, paused Netflix, and walked to the door. I called out, "Sarah, is that you?" No one replied. I got a bit scared because I didn't know who was there. Our place didn't have a peephole, which was bad timing. I made sure to be cautious and secured the door by putting the chain on. Then, I opened it slightly and saw Alan, our neighbor. He's in his 30s, quite tall at about 6 feet, with dark hair and good looking. We hadn't spoken much before, just the usual nod and smile. He had talked to Sarah a few times. She had been living here for 2 years before I moved in. This guy lived across from us, but he felt unfamiliar to me even though I'd seen him around. However, that night, something felt strange. It was 10 p.m. and he was standing at my door, trying hard to get inside. It made me uncomfortable and gave me a creepy feeling. He kept asking about Sarah, where she was, why she left, and if I was alone. Then he wanted to hang out, saying he was alone too. Asked about coffee and stuff. He was kind of good looking, but his actions made me uneasy. Before I could react, he undid the chain, pushed in, and blocked the door with his foot. He acted like I'd invited him over. That's when I finally stuttered out, "Please leave. You weren't invited." Guy didn't move from where he was. He walked casually to the kitchen, got some cups, and acted like nothing was wrong. I tried to tell him I didn't ask him to come in, but I was nervous. He didn't respond, just looked at me without saying anything. He was dressed neatly, but I was scared because he came in without permission. I quickly ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and called my friend Sarah for help. I told Sarah everything, how the guy came inside without permission, how he unlocked the safety lock on the door. Sarah said she'd be back with a friend and her dad. Then I heard his footsteps nearing the bathroom. He stopped right outside. I didn't even think to call the cops when this guy showed up uninvited. He seemed so confident and charming that I hesitated. It was kind of fascinating, but also scary. I stayed hidden in the bathroom for 5 more minutes. Then suddenly, I heard Sarah yelling at him and kicking him out. I couldn't understand how this good-looking guy thought he could just come into a girl's place at night and act like it was his. He'd done this to Sarah before, and it wasn't okay. I avoided him after that. Sarah acted like it was normal for him, but I thought it was all wrong. That behavior shouldn't be normal or accepted.